talking about tyres and flat tyres on your stealth bike or e-bikes. Now, the standard tyres are these Razorback. They're a 24-inch wheel, 3-inch wide tyre. This one here, you can see it's done 1,300 kilometres, so about 1,300 k's, and the tread's getting down a fair bit in the centre there, so she's pretty worn in the middle. So I'm going to be replacing that tyre. I've got a new tyre here, a new Razorback to go on it. The other question is, how do we deal with flats? Well, we haven't had a flat tyre. One of the reasons is we use these, the Tuffy tyre liners, Mr. Tuffy tyre liners. Now there's that one, this is the smaller one that's currently in that wheel over there. I've just bought these new ones, they're a little bit wider. They seem to be a little bit thinner. Now I've just installed that inside the tyre there, and what I've done, I've actually glued that in, just tacked it in there just to hold it in place. I've put the tube in, inflated that a little bit just to hold that liner in place until that glue goes off. And that'll just hold that in there in the right position, because the problem is that when you go to fit this tyre and tube in on the wheel, everything moves around and the liner goes out of position and it doesn't stay centered on the tyre, so that's really important. The other thing we do, we use tyre slime. About half a cupful is all we need in these size tyres, and so far we haven't had a rear puncture. I have done the same in the front tyre. The liquid patch goo we put in the tyres, I also run it in my DR650 over there. There we go. Now, you can see the liner in there is sort of zigzagged and wobbly. And now that liner is perfectly aligned inside all the way around that tyre. And that should stay in place as opposed to this one, which moved all around as I was putting that tube in originally. So I guess in reality I probably only had half that tyre protected, given that the liner was a bit zigzag all over the place. Okay, I've just pulled the tube out of this tyre, and now we can see the Tuffy liner glued inside. Now have a look at that. That's really what we want to see. Pretty good alignment. Give yourself the maximum amount of bead room around the rim. I've broken one tyre lever already. Pinching the tube inside, because that will be a real problem if we've done that. Always starting at the valve. Again, just getting yourself as much of that bead into the valley of the rim. It's not working that well. However, push that tube. Now that's why it's really important. Have a little bit of air inflated in that tube. Takes out all the wrinkles and kinks in it, and keeps it up into the belly of the tyre where you really want it. Away from this area. What we don't want is pinching tube down in here. Okay, so next step now, we've got the tyre on. It's got to be pumped up. I'm not going to put my tyre slime into the tube just yet, in case there is a pinch flat. I've pinched it and I put the slime in. It's going to be awfully messy getting all this back off, and that's going to be hard enough as it is. So let's get this pumped up and we'll see if we've got any holes in the tube. And hopefully that liner has stayed glued in place and nice and straight all the way around the tyre, unlike the previous one I showed you when we took it off. We want to be somewhere around 30 to 35. Well, we're 31, so that's pretty good. The valve cap back on, and she's good to go.